giving a shout out to Joe Biden. Thank you, President Joe Biden. NBC News says White House bans trans activist for a topless photo at Pride event. It was a video. Rose Montoya, a trans model and activist, said she was living her truth and wasn't trying to be vulgar or profane. But in fact, that's exactly what this person was doing. Jumping up and down topless with two other trans individuals and exposing their bare chests. Now, you can make the argument that it's legal to do so in Washington, D.C. Sure, under the 14th Amendment, if men are allowed to go out without shirts on, then women are as well. But this is the White House. This is a formal event. This is an individual who showed up, took their top off and all that stuff. Let me just read the story. We'll get into it. The White House said a transgender model would be banned from future events due to photos and videos that show her topless in the South Lawn during an LGBTQ Pride Month celebration on Saturday. This individual, just for clarification, is biologically male. Rose Montoya, a trans model and activist, was among hundreds invited by Biden. Montoya shared a video from the event on Instagram that features a clip of her standing in front of the White House, topless, covering her nipples with her hands. Right-wing media shared screenshots from Montoya's video, with commentators and media personalities calling her actions disrespectful. Well, a White House spokesperson said Tuesday that Montoya and the other people featured would be banned from future events organized there. This behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate LGBTQI families or other hundreds of guests who were in attendance. The White House spokesperson said individuals in the video will not be invited to future events. Now, Candace Owens has been critical of Biden for inviting these people, knowing full well what these people do. I can agree with that. However, I think we should be praising the Biden administration, Karine Jean-Pierre, and all of the Democrats in the White House right now for this. Why? This behavior that we're seeing is commonplace at pride parades and pride events. In fact, substantially worse things go on.
Correct.
If this was a pride event and this is inappropriate and unacceptable and warranting a ban for more than one individual, and that's Joe Biden who said it, well, that's wonderful. Two things. We want Joe Biden, Democrats and the establishment to back off this stuff, to lose that fight. We want these people to quite literally say, Seamus, you were right the whole time. We're sorry. And now we agree with you. And that's exactly what Joe Biden is starting with this process. In doing so, the Democrats are now agreeing with us. We're winning that fight. Why am I going to complain about it? The most important thing is, in terms of how we address the conversation, the next time, to each and every one of you people out there listening, with your liberal aunt or family member who is always telling you you're wrong, now you only need to say one thing. Look, I don't know about all that, but I agree with Joe Biden on this one. This stuff is inappropriate and is disrespectful. That's it. So now when they say, oh, you Trumpists, no, I'm with Joe Biden on this one. You know, Joe Biden came out, his administration saying this stuff shouldn't be happening. He's right.
Come on, man, I'm Catholic. We don't believe in that. This is indecent.
But it creates a tribal conundrum for many of these individuals. If their whole identity is just hating Trump, but now all of a sudden you, their supposed political enemy, is saying, no, Biden was right. What's their response going to be? Biden's wrong? Okay. Absolutely get them to start condemning Joe Biden.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I do think, though, it is also important to point out the hypocrisy of them. Like Candace said, you know who you're inviting. So, yeah, you know that this is moral and indecent. You just admitted it. And yet you invited them anyway, knowing that they were likely to behave like they behave at all other Pride events. What's wrong with you?
Let me show you these tweets, because I think there's actually a good exchange between Candace and myself. Candace Owens says, Rose Montoya is the name of the man who exposed his surgically created breast to young children at the White House. The White House invited Rose knowing fully well that he advocates for the teaching of sex to young children. He advocates for this openly on his Instagram page. Now, I disagree with that sentiment, and I responded, you should be praising Biden. He actually condemned trans activists. And Candace responded, you're missing the point entirely. Biden is only condemning this act because his voters were outraged. He invited this individual to the White House knowing what this individual was and exactly how they behaved in public. His entire Instagram is dedicated to debauchery. I said, after realizing it was hurting him, he backtracked. Now is our PR response. Now you praise Biden in order to push the story and force him to keep condemning the behavior. Now we say this LGBT pride stuff where they dance naked at parades is bad. I agree with Joe Biden. That's my point. By all means, I certainly understand what Candace is saying. The Biden administration, these individuals know who they're inviting, what they do. But what you need to understand about many of these people is they're fair weather politicians. If they see in public people saying it's good, they say, sure, fine, whatever. But then all of a sudden they engage in the behavior and it goes bad and they're getting a big backlash. If the only options you present towards the Biden administration, Democrats, liberals, or whatever, is always, no matter what you do, we're mad at you, then they'll just write you off. If you say, you know what, I disagree with you on politics. I think the Biden family is deeply corrupt, but in this one, thank you for doing the right thing and condemning this behavior. If this means they faced a backlash, if Joe Biden faced a backlash among his voters that was so severe he actually condemned this, that means we are winning. And this kind of lewd behavior is now being condemned by the president. Like, that's culture war victory. Like one of the best we've seen. Now you can go to each and every one of those liberal family members and friends and be like, look, even Joe Biden's calling this out. Will you now take a second to listen to me? I think it's victory. I say, thanks, Biden. I appreciate it. I really sincerely mean it. It was the right thing to do.
Oh, I absolutely see it as a victory too. After he denounced it or disavowed it, absolutely, it's a moral victory, because anytime that they continue to like be half naked, you can say that's wrong. It's not good enough for the White House. It's not good enough for my kid's school.
But it was a pride event. This person went topless, and Biden said this is wrong and disrespectful. And you know what? He's absolutely correct about that. It is wrong and disrespectful. I think the big issue as to why this debate is happening is because people don't want this stuff around kids. And that's it. When Bud Light thought they were winning, they absolutely sponsored these events. It hurt them. Target, it hurt them. Kohl's, it's hurting them. North Face, it's hurting them. All these companies are now facing this massive backlash. The White House, it's hurting them. All this massive cultural shift, it's like victory's around the corner, man. I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, Joe Biden's coming out being like, I guess you guys win. I'm like, that's right. We were right the whole time.
I used to think that Puritans were so far behind the curve, but now I'm realizing in real time how society can become aberrant. I've never seen it in my life. I'm 44. I never saw like real, like derogatory behavior take mainstream attention. It's always been like, yeah, blackout drunk, that's disgusting. Drug addicts, gross. Sex in public, disgusting. Like, I knew that stuff. But now, like, I see why why people are Puritans in general. Like, you do need to protect people's minds. It can't just because something is real, it doesn't mean it's okay to see.
Yeah. I want to address some of what people are saying real quick. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We've got some super chats. One says, don't praise them. They only did it because of the uproar. Another person says, don't praise your enemies. You're not going to teach them anything. In any conflict, the end result is not the eradication of your enemy. In some instances, that's what they try to make happen, for sure. You know, genocide has existed throughout history. It's horrifying. But in most wars, it is the subjugation of your rival. Someone declares one another country. What do? They occupy that country and then use the people of that country towards their ends. It is not just like they go in there and say, now we will remove these people. Like, certainly it's happened, but that's not typical. In terms of only doing it after uproar, that's what we want to happen. Someone does something bad. We say, rabble, rabble, rabble. They say, okay, we're sorry. We say, thank you. And then we continue through. It's like you've claimed the battlefield. They've surrendered and laid down their arms and said, you win. And we go, okay, now the battlefield is ours. Now we're going to dictate the terms. In terms of, not praising your enemies, he says, don't praise your enemies, you crush them. When we get to the point where all of these corporations are agreeing with us, in order to make them continue agreeing with us, we now must give them positive incentive. We said, what you're doing is bad. They said, screw you. We said, it's bad. We're not going to buy your products. Now we stop buying their products. Now their market's tanking and they're panicking. If we don't buy their products, what will they do? They'll say, okay, we're going to double down. Now's the opportunity to say, hey, wow, these companies are backtracking. Give them an incentive to sell to you, and they will shift even further in your direction. So I know to a lot of people it may seem counterintuitive because you're angry at what many of these corporations were doing, at what Biden has done and is doing, and it's not just about the culture war, but you've got to plan for how you actually win this and what your end goals are going to be. If we truly want these people to stop targeting kids and stop the lewd and lascivious behavior in public and in schools, we have to utilize this statement from the president. We have to use it.
I wonder. Oh, what were you going to say, Lisa?
It's a step in the right direction, but it also. So I see what you're saying. It's a step in the right direction, and we want to encourage like good behavior. Like with any children, you want to encourage good behavior, but it's only a piece of it. For the rest of it, like they knew this guy promotes, being degenerate in front of children, and they invited him. Like, where's the apology for that? Are you just apologizing person took his shirt off, right? Is that the only reason that the apology is there? Well, okay, but right. 3 people taking their shirt off in the White House. But where is the outrage and the apology for inviting these people that you knew were degenerate to begin with, and advocated for things that most of the country disagrees? Where's that?
I don't think you're going to get that.
Yeah, not from the White House, not from a political power. They'll ban the enemy.
That's
they
why I'm
turn
saying
this
it's
guy into an enemy.
It's a good start, but we have to get to the other. We can't declare victory just yet.
Well, I don't know if
It's not about declaring victory. It's about there's 2 paths the Democrats can go down right now, and corporations and everyone. It is doubling down on their behaviors like Bud Light is currently doing, or it's saying, okay, we were wrong and going the other direction. The only way someone will change their life, their work, the only way that they'll change the thing they're fighting for is if there is a path of least resistance and a light at the end of the tunnel. If you create a roadblock in front of them, no matter what they do, they will keep doing what they're doing. It's just there's no other. It's just simple logic. You say to the Biden administration, "I hate you and you're wrong." They're going to be like, "What was the point of apologizing? We got nothing for it. It made us look worse. Now everyone's mad at us. Just keep doing what you're doing and latch on to the fans you have."
Yeah,
if
really.
we come out and we say, "No, you're doing a good job," they're going to be like, "Hey, we're winning over people by doing this. Let's keep doing more of it."
Right.
We want them to try to win our approval. So we have to offer them.
Like I said, I agree
morsels.
with that incentive, just like you would with the kid. But it's, to me, that's like we still have to keep pushing them further and further and further.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think we have to let people know what they're not getting. So you're right that there's an apology here, but then there's also a question of, well, is he addressing the fact that he did invite this person who was promoting horrible stuff in the first place, right? I mean, there wasn't an apology for that. And you're right that we're probably not going to get one. I just think it's important for people to know that you haven't gotten that, right? They haven't made this right. They've pushed a little bit in the right direction, but it's...
There are a lot of bad people who get invited to the White House. The first question right now that we can address is the behavior at the White House.
Yeah.
And there may be someone who's done something horrendous and then they got invited after the fact. And it certainly has happened with a lot of people, like Obama invited certain people. There's a lot of people we could name we can talk about the Weather Underground, for instance, and these people who have sordid pasts.
And Trump invited Milo.
I mean, there are questionable people that get invited who have done things. The question is, first and foremost, was it proper decorum for the White House? And the fact that they're saying no to this means we now have the opportunity to say, if it's not good for the White House, why is it good for the public streets?
That's a victory.
If he was upset that it was in front of kids here, why not be upset that it was in front of kids elsewhere? This is it right here, man. Now, when it comes to the schools, if someone says, why do you care so much about what's going on in these schools? And I'll be like, I agree with Biden on this one. They shouldn't be showing kids this stuff.
This is so good for ads, though, for Republican ads. They should have the slogan. Remember how everybody was saying, bring back decency to the White House by having Biden come in and say, this is your decency, and show the White House and like a background picture with the zipper marks and the person with the fake boobs and say, this is what you voted for. This is decency brought back to the White House.
And what is Biden going to say? And what is Biden going to say? I already said I was sorry, man.
But
you can't run on that.
But no, but he will say this, and then the response will be, so did you not vet the individuals, or did you know and regret it after the fact? But that is true. I think conservatives are going to. This is it for 2024. No question. They are going to run these ads in suburban districts targeting women relentlessly.
Oh, it's so annoying.
And it will work. It's going to be suburban moms who are going to be like, I am outraged that this happened. This is not decency. In fact, it's worse than Trump. They said Trump was the lewd old man and he was potty mouth. But it was Biden who brought the people to come in and take their shirts off and jiggle them in front of a camera.
Well, and that's the thing people miss about Biden, intentionally so, in the media, is it's not like we went from Trump, who is abrasive and angry and mean to people, to Biden, who's nice and sweet. We just got someone who is equally, if not more abrasive and mean, but way less funny. Right? Biden did not bring decency to the White House. He's just very creepy. He's very gross. And he's also very mean. There was nothing decent or adult about him in his entire career.
Yeah, I don't think so
I do
either.
want to point out real quick. Trump was supposed to speak at 8:15. They pushed it to 8:30. They pushed it to 8:45. So
Making him wait, D.
well, he's coming back and he's doing his thing. So
I feel like
we'll
that's
get to when we get
typical
to it.
Trump.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time he was on time for anything. I think
Yep.
once.
He's loving it.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.